one? Okay. Yep.
It was most unfortunate. Where's my webcam? Come on, pick a cam. Pick a cam. Any cam.
But you could have been taunting us too.
Any cam.
I've got 3 webcams connected to this computer at the moment, so just pick one, dude. Seriously, go on when you're ready.
Yeah, I restarted for the 4th time.
Okay, my stream's back up. We can hear you guys. So
I'm sorry.
Episode 2 will have to be in 2 parts, unfortunately. Right, Mike. I think mine's having a bit of trouble loading my webcam, so I'm going to keep trying to fix that. Have you come up with an answer?
I think we have one for the third one.
We think.
Okay, so the third riddle: you will always find me in the past. I can be created in the present, but the future can never taint me.
Yeah, I believe that is history.
Okay, so Dustin, you lay your hand on the chain. You speak the word history, and you see the runes sear bright red, almost too painful to look at, and the chains snap and just instantly retract down into the floor. The dragon lifts its head and turns to look at you. Well now, such a surprise from someone so slight. One down, 2 to go. Are we all still there? Because I can see Sam, but Brian's camera looks like it's frozen.
Okay.
No, I'm just sitting there patiently.
I've broken the fucking internet. That's what I've done.
Yeah, your camera's just trying to.
Yeah. I'm gonna just keep switching between cameras to see if I can get that one back up and running. That cam. Oh, okay. Hang on a second. We've got the wrong capture up. Main display. There we go. We want that one. Yeah, carry on. I'm just kind of muttering to myself.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're just trying to figure out what the answers to the other 2 could be. Unless anyone wants to.
Number 1 is so
dragon.
hard. We could ask him. But number 1, I think of fame, and I think of money for some. Problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said time, right?
But why would you want less time, though?
Saying nothing.
You wouldn't want.
There I am. What a handsome beast.
Okay. But I feel like that's. Sam, can you say that again?
The question is.
The first one or the second one? Everyone has it. Those who have it least don't know. Those who have it most wish they had less, but not too little nor none at all. I still can't see Omar.
I see him.
Oh, he just came back. He
Yeah,
blacked out
he's
for a
waving
bit
at
there,
you.
but-
He's still loading.
Aw, well, that's unfortunate. Hmm.
I should have brought snacks. All I've got is pineapple rum. And we've lost Sam. Oh, there we go.
Brian? I mean, you're next.
I'm still here.
You're the only one who
I
hasn't.
see everyone now.
And we don't see you.
My cam signal keeps fading
balls?
in and out, so.
I'm wondering if it's Discord. Because it seems like all of...
It's giving everybody issues.
Yeah.
Stop! Keep the camera on you. I'm not pressing off. Leave it. Leave it. That's it. I'm putting my mouse way far away. If it does it again, I'm going to punch it in the face. No!
Oh, man, we can't see it get punched in the face.
Oh, the comedy. Oh, it's almost like I planned this.
This is...
Eric, if you're still there, and you can still hear us. Oh, no, there goes Eric.
You were saying?
I was going to say that Eric's still part of the party, so...
This is the funny stream you wanted, right? This is what you meant by comedy?
So, yeah, when Eric gets back, Eric is still part of the party. His character may not be able to offer any input, but he, as a player, can.
Okay.
I literally didn't even press that button and it came up by itself.
But you're out of sync? Oh.
What the heck? I didn't press that either.
This is where somebody needs to redeem that. Why won't you let me die?
Why won't you let me die?
Okay. I'm just checking Twitter to see if there's like a thing on Discord.
I don't know. Yeah, Discord does seem to be playing up a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Because everybody streams is kind of jumping around. Let's take a break here for 10 minutes. I'm going to pause the stream. We can all leave the Discord and restart Discord itself and see if we can get this back up and running.
Okay.
So yeah. Oh, just as that. So yeah, we're going to pause. We're just going to take a quick break for 10 minutes. Let's everybody shut down Discord and restart it. See if we can stop some of these issues.
Did you get that, Sam?
Sure.
And we are back, motherfuckers.
Yeah, we are.
Motherfucker. And no, Sam's gone again.
But that's the thing, it keeps popping on and off without me. So maybe it's my plugin. But
What you talking about, Willis?
Moose internet.
Oh, the poor moose is so tired.
Oh, the maple syrup is running wires.
The poor moose is so tired.
A little sticky nut.
While you're waiting, I've just been checking Joni's stream, and she's actually doing makeup on Cole.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see
man.
that point. No.
Yeah.
I hate that I'm missing that right now.
It's got a little over an hour countdown left.
That's a hell of a streamathon then.
Yeah.
Sam, can you still hear us at least?
Yep.
Okay, audio's good. Okay, that's at least something. So the guys think they have a solution to the first one.
What is it?
I said knowledge.
Yep, that makes sense. Oh, come on. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
I consider women to be the answer to all three of these riddles, but apparently that's just me. Because most of these sum up some girls that I've dated over the years. Okay, so who's going to try the first chain?
With the first chain.
I said I did one already. There's three of us, and there's three chains. I think we should take turns.
Yeah. So
I think Brian just said that he yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
Brian?
is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't hear me? Did I cut out?
For me, you did. I'm sorry.
Okay, Brian, so
Well, no, it could be my mic, because I'm not sure why it picks it up good at times, and other times it doesn't pick it up.
Look,
at
I don't
all.
know who this Mike geezer is, but stop blaming him for it and just crack on, mate. Crack on. So, Brian, you approach the first chain, you lay your hand upon it, and you say the words...
Knowledge.
The chains glow intensely and fiercely, and you take 8 points of fire damage to your hand.
I was kind of figuring that. So what happens if you get it wrong?
Honestly, I was expecting psychic damage.
What happens is the DM gets to roll dice. Okay, next.
Sam. Sam wants to try the second chain.
Well, I don't really know an answer yet.
This Gratus is joining us in chat. Very welcome, mate.
But once I did see. Once I had thoughts, but now I'm empty. Once had eyes.
Don't
have eyes.
I think it's just a skull.
Like a head? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a person that died because they once had thoughts, they once had eyes, and they could see.
Don't anymore. Okay,
Yeah.
I will put my hand on the second chain and say skull.
Okay, you lay your hands on the chain, you speak the word a skull. The chains glow in that huge, blinding, vibrant red light, and the second chain breaks in the center and retracts instantly into the floor.
Break it!
Well done, little morsels. And your dragon lays back down again. Sam's celebration got cut off there.
Rude.
Totally rude. And she's gone again.
I was gonna say, you don't have to worry about camera if it's just not gonna work.
Yeah, as long as we can hear you and you
It's
can hear
turning
us.
on and off itself. I'm just gonna have to
Unplug it.
Let's see. Yeah, seriously, unplug it and plug it back in again. Or just stick to audio for now, as long as we can hear you. That's the main thing.
Well, Brian, it's up to you on this first one. You can do it.
I'm really gonna hate this is if the answer is time.
Do you want to ask the dragon the riddle and see if it would tell you? Because maybe it just doesn't know it could know the answer, but maybe it didn't know the riddle in the first place that was binding it.
Well, that I think is actually a good question. I'm not sure if it would go along with the rules though. Because it's usually something we're supposed to figure out.
Right. I mean, worst case is the dragon just doesn't know the answer, I guess. Or won't tell you.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna go with he's not gonna tell you. Because where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Because, remember, he's offering you gifts if you free him. If you're not worthy enough to free him, then how are you proving yourself worthy to receive these gifts? Everything with dragons are a trade.
A trade.
There's always a catch, basically. There's always a catch.
There is.
Okay. Well, everyone has it. So that's a start.
Everyone has it. Those who have it least don't know. Those who have it most wish they had less, but not too little nor none at all.
What does everyone have? Time, life, breath,
It sounds like the final act of The Fifth Element all of a sudden. I ain't got no fire, Cole. I ain't got no fire coming. I ain't got no fire.
and then it all just faded away.
Yeah, we so need Cole here to do that quote, don't we?
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
We did like wisdom already.
I ain't got no fire.
Yeah.
We wouldn't
Well,
want
yeah,
wisdom.
we did like
Knowledge,
knowledge.
yeah.
Oh, come on. What's the worst that going to happen? You're going to take 8 points of damage. And this is not really making riveting streaming because there's so much more story that you guys have to cover still. What are we? 1 o'clock, so probably don't want to be going much past another 2 hours, do we?
I'm gonna actually go with my first instinct. So
Okay.
I'm gonna approach the chain, put my hand on it.
Wait.
What?
What's your health at?
I got 8 damage against me for 28.
Okay, then tell me what it is and I'll do it.
No. He's pretty much got the same health as you, right?
I think I got more.
Yeah, our cleric is considerably more fortified than the rogue. Rogues are generally quite weak, which is why they have to rely on the sneaky sneak.
After the 8 damage, he's pretty much still got the same amount of health as her.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to say time.
Okay, you lay your hands on the chain. You speak the word time. Again, the runes glow in this violent red blinding light. and the final chain snaps and recedes into the floor.
Oh, it's always the first instinct.
The dragon raises its head and turns towards you. And for the first time, you see it stretching its shoulders, and the wings open so wide that they're scraping the edges of the walls and the tops of the ceilings. Finally!
I'm nervous.
Freedom! He roars at you, leans his head back, and bellows fire all the way across the ceiling in victory, in triumph, in the feeling of freedom. Finally having this magic lifted from him, suppressing him for so long, and for the first time feeling like he's actually awake and full of energy. You look up in close to abject terror as the entire ceiling of this cavern fills with roiling flame billowing across the ceiling, almost like watching storm waves from underneath as it licks and curls around the columns. Thankfully not getting too close to you. He rears back up on his hind legs, stretches his wings out, and drops down onto all fours again with a huge, shaking, ground-shaking, thunderous crash of claws on stone. Thank you, little morsels. You have freed me, and I will honor our bargain. Gifts I will bestow on each of you. He kind of shuffles along to the ranger, and huge monster, almost like a house foot descends down in front of you, Dustin, and as his claw touches the ground in front of you, there is the kind of glow of this octarine light, and what appears to be a folded robe or a folded piece of cloth appears at your feet. Brian, he moves over to you. Reaches down, touches the ground in front of you, and what appears to be a weapon appears at your feet. It looks like a mace of some sort, but it's coated in this octarine blue and purple and green and pink light just roiling and writhing around on the surface of the weapon. And finally, he shuffles over to the rogue, reaches down with the huge claw and touches his finger to the stone. And as he lifts his claw away, a small white and silver egg sits on the stone. He rears back up onto his hind legs, turns, whipping his tail around the room, taking down some of the columns as he does so. You see him taking a huge breath, and fire bellows out from his mouth into the back wall of the stone cavern, and the rock begins to melt. The dragon begins blasting his way out of his prison, and as you look down, you see the molten rock start to flow over the floor towards you as lava. The dragon, in his rage, his tail whipping and splashing around in the lava, sending sprays of molten rock around the room. Guys, you might want to get out of there.
Running!
Grab the mace and run.
Why are we running?
Bring the golem!
Because this room is slowly filling up with lava.
Okay.
You're right, we have the rings. Use the rings.
Okay, the
Wait,
dragon...
can you bring the golem?
The dragon is basically melting his way out of this mountain using his dragon fire. And that stone is melting and going somewhere. And it's slowly starting to kind of flow towards you as of almost like a slow motion wave breaking against a beach. You grab your items that have been laid at your feet and you run up the stairs just in time as the lava almost starts splattering and hissing behind your feet as you dash up the stairs. The level continues to rise, creeping over each step, second by second, and filling the room. And it looks like it's going to start to overflow. Think fast.
We need to start running up the stairs for now.
We're
Okay.
at the top.
No, the spiral staircase.
Okay, you make a run for the spiral staircase. Kralis, are you bringing the golem? Dustin, have we lost you?
Oh, I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, it's another wish spell, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry. Just continue to follow me until I tell you to stop.
Okay, Eric, you understand the instructions that you've been given. The others begin sprinting across the floor as the lava breaks over the top of the stairs and starts to run down the other side. It's kind of splashing and kind of flowing over your feet, Eric, and you don't really notice it.
Right, yeah. I feel like I'm kind of just lumbering along. I'm not really trying to move quickly.
It kind of feels to you. It kind of feels you're just walking. It's almost like you're just splashing through some shallow water.
Right.
You're taking no damage at all. It's not affecting you in any way. It's just slowing you down a little. The rest of the party starts running up the stairs as this wave of lava continues to flood across the floor. And you see the level in this part of the chamber start to rise again as the dragon continues burning his way out of this mountain. And as you start running up the stairs, you glance back down and you see the golem slowly wading through, almost at waist height now. This molten rock roiling around him. And he doesn't seem fazed by it at all. He just continues to move through as if he's walking through particularly heavy treacle. He steps out onto the stairs. You can see the lava's cooling around him and beginning to harden on the clay body that the golem is. And as he's moving, you can see that where it's hardening into rock again, it's very quickly cracking and falling away as he starts to climb the stairs behind you. You get about 20 or 30 feet up the stairs and the level of the lava starts to settle and you can see it begins to cool. At this point, however, the heat is tremendous and you are struggling to breathe as you continue to move up the stairs. The fumes from all this melted rock is filling the chamber, and there's very little oxygen left for you to breathe. And you can see little spurts of fire jetting out from the lava as the heat is setting fire to the air in the room. You make a last panicked dash up the top of the stairs and kind of tumble out onto the floor of the orichalcum, gasping for breath. And a few moments later, the golem's head begins to appear as he slowly plods his way up the stairs. The golem stops, standing at on the very final step, awaiting further instruction.
All right. Well, what are we going to do? We have to discuss this first. Are we going to use the ring to get out of here?
I'd assume so, yeah. Are we needing to talk to the librarian again for any reason while we're up here?
Well,
I
while
mean,
you're
I don't think
standing
it's a good
around,
idea.
the librarian actually comes floating over in quite some alarm because, all this steam is not healthy for books. And fire in a library, I mean, really? It's like, goodness, what on earth have you been doing down there? He's like flapping his hands at the lava, trying to cool it down.
We saved an innocent being?
Did we?
Kinda?
Did we?
Or was it a holy terror?
I mean, we have no idea if this being was innocent at all.
We saved a captured being?
Well, now, for those of you that have actually read the notes that I kind of posted on the Twitch recordings, you probably understand why this game is called The Birth of Dragon's Fire. So, let me give you a little bit of backstory that just to speed things along a little. That dragon's been imprisoned inside a mountain by wizards for at least the last 1,000 years. And they fed from his energy and used his power to power their spells, power their experiments, power their machinations. And he is pissed. No dragon, aside from the little doggy-sized swamp dragons, no dragon has been seen in the world for 1,000 years, a millennia. They're kind of like we treat them. They're fairy stories. They're books. They're works of fiction. They're things that scare little children in picture books. And you've released one into the world that is very angry.
Yeah, I imagine.
fucked up.
Yeah, I imagine this is like Smog coming into the town after they stole the jewel from him.
Well, I could have just made it my sugar daddy and all would have been well, but no.
So yes,
Yeah, but I feel
indeed.
like it's more like it's a bit like that, but then you stole the jewel from Smog and then trapped him for 1,000 years.
And he was trapped completely penniless because dragons aren't comfortable unless they're sleeping on gold.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is why my game is called The Birth of Dragon's Fire. Because for the first time in a millennia, Dragon's Fire has now been unleashed across the Discworld.
Yay!
Whoops.
Oh.
Hashtag no regrets.
Hashtag
Now
YOLO.
we've saved the golem. For now. Question is, do we keep the golem?
Why?
Wow.
Right? What are you
I
gonna do?
really
Just kick
feel
him out?
wanted.
Yeah. Thanks
Well,
for having me, guys.
the one thing that this should have demonstrated is A, the golem is fireproof
Yes.
and lava-proof. Might
Yeah.
come in handy.
We need.
Right.
I'll,
Well,
if
this is a
you don't want him,
discussion.
I'll take him.
I mean,
No, it's almost like a human shield.
It would literally shield you as
Right.
a human.
so we're agreeing to keep the golem.
Yep.
Hang on
Keep
a
control
second.
on it too.
Hang on just 1 second. Okay, so I've rolled a 16, which is duh.
Okay. Well, it was either that or release them back to the library. So those were the choices.
Hoping we get 4th level because I don't know how to use a maze.
We are going to be leveling you up
hammered.
at the end of this session. But you would be able to use it even now, but you wouldn't be proficient with it.
Right.
So you wouldn't get your
Plus-
proficiency bonus on your attack roll yet until you've leveled up to level 4. The
least you know what you
librarian
have.
looks somewhat distressed by all of this steam and heat that's been unleashed into the orichalcum, but it dissipates quite quickly as the lava below you begins to cool. However, the library still seems to be standing, and the enchanted ceiling is still working, even without the dragon as a power source. He does have the general air of, I think it's time for you to leave about him. Okay, yeah, right, okay, before you go, there's a cupboard here with just some odds and ends, you know. The students leave things lying around all over the place, you know. He kind of leads you over to the lost property cupboard.
Knickknacks.
Paddywhacks.
There's really not much I can offer you here, apart from the knowledge that the orichalcum holds. But if you find here anything of use, feel free to take it with you.
I want to explore the cabinet.
Okay, can I get a d20 from you? Investigation?
A 9. And what?
With your investigation. So that's your intelligence modifier.
+2.
I think
Plus 1, actually.
yeah,
Yes,
but you're
it's just-
proficient in that in investigation. So that should be +3.
Oh, investigation is +4. Sorry.
Okay. Can you roll both? Can you roll your d10s, your percentile dice?
Ooh.
Ooh, random magic chart. On them for good luck.
Yeah,
Say
one
God,
has
like-
double zeros, and the other one looks exactly the same, but has a 10, I believe, right? Or one has a
Usually
0.
This one has a 10. I need the one with the 10, obviously.
Yeah, so that's your 10s.
Yes.
The other one is going to be your 1s.
It's it's the only dice
It's
that
the
you've got.
exact same.
Yeah, it's the exact
size.
same shape. Ones have like 90, 70, 30, 80 on them, and one is 1 to 10 or 1 to 0.
See, like this. So this is going to be your 10s, and this is
No,
going to be your 1s.
Right, one
So
of
when
them's
you're
correct. The
rolling-
other one's a d12.
the one in your left hand is correct.
You do see that that is like the
That's
same
the one.
pyramid
That's
type
the one.
shape,
There you go.
and that's the percent. So you just roll them, and say your roll came up like this. So that is it's hard to read in the camera. So that's like an
93?
80.
83, something like
Oh.
that.
Yeah.
I got an 80 and a 2. That's weird.
Oh, 82.
82.
Magic beans.
A ring of multiple wishes.
Another dragon egg.
Yeah. Just become
That is?
Khaleesi.
That is a baby dragon egg.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Okay,
Freaking
Sam.
excited.
You pull what looks like a long, slender metal rod out of a pile of what was probably trash.
Really?
There was a
What
backpack
would you
in
use
there.
that for?
Looks like an old, busted-up looking backpack, and inside it you found a metal rod. The rod is about 30 centimeters long, maybe 3 centimeters in diameter, and completely smooth. Dustin, your turn.
All right, I'm reaching in. Same. Die.
D20 investigation first, please.
D20. Okay. Oh, right. I hate this. All right. Let's see what we get. It's 13 plus 3, 16.
Okay, and percentage, please.
All right. 21.
Interesting.
Deck of Mayhem.
Oh, I've had one of those before.
All the
Sadly,
all the
I
books are
pulled
coming
the
up.
dungeon card.
Yeah, but Brian, you don't know which table I'm reading off.
Yeah, I know. It could be miscellaneous. It could be weapons. I have a feeling Sam's probably got like a wand or something.
Okay,
Wouldn't
Dustin.
that be great?
It could be an anything wand or a wand of wonder.
Dustin, you pull a
Freaking hope so.
what looks like a parchment scroll out of another random cubbyhole.
Okay. Looks like two things that a druid would use. Alright.
On investigation, this is a scroll of banishment.
Oh. Okay.
That's
Don't banish me.
that's 4th level. Brian, your turn. D20 investigation. Have a good rummage. It's like a bric-a-brac sale, isn't it? Have a good rummage.
Alright, so all he gets a 2. Ah! 5 and 2 is 7.
Okay, percentile dice now.
30.
3.
3-0. 30.
Okay, you find a potion bottle. You recognize this straight away from the color of the potion. This is a potion of greater healing.
Ah. So it's kind of a Pepto-Bismol-y.
Little bit more than your 3d4.
So it's the old 1 die 4?
No, this is going to be 4d4. Hang on, lesser. Sorry, this is 5d4 healing. So a potion of greater healing, 5d4. Also, while you're digging around, you also find a couple of other random objects. Dustin, you pull out a very old and battered-looking bow. It's a little bit bigger than a short bow, but not quite a long bow sized.
Okay.
There's some quite ornate carving on this bow, but it looks like it hasn't seen wax or sunlight for some time. You can add that to your inventory if you wish.
Just a regular short bow?
Are you keeping it?
Yeah, I'll keep it.
Sam, while you're digging around, you also find what looks like a patchwork-made backpack. It's just kind of sewn together from little scraps of fabric, but it seems to have some heft to it. Worth keeping. You don't have anything of its like to hand at the moment, so you sling that over your shoulder as well. Brian, you find also a small pouch in the rubble. It's about the size of, say about that big, about the size of 2 fists. Drawstring on the top. The fabric is very ornate. It looks almost like silk with heavy brocade to it. The drawstring at the top has the fancy little tassels. on the end, and it has 2 little separate strings for you to kind of tie it onto your belt. Are you keeping it?
I think so. I actually want to try opening the bag.
Okay. I'll tell you now, just to make it simpler. Dustin, that's a +2 longbow.
+2 longbow. Okay.
Even though it's not a longbow.
All right.
So it's kind of short bow length, but longbow damage. And being +2, it's masterwork and it's magical.
Yes.
Sam, your backpack is a backpack of holding. Which are not ultimately rare or legendary items, but incredibly useful. Because it can hold many times its own weight in items. Kind of like Hermione's purse in Deathly Hallows. You can rummage around in there and find pretty much anything you want.
I was actually going to say, you said it was hefty. Can I check what's in it?
You can do, but that's not how bags of holding work.
Why?
You have to know what's in there, and you have to as you're reaching into it, you say, right, I want to retrieve my something, and then when you withdraw your hand, it'll either be there or it's not. If it's not in the bag, you won't be able to pull it out of the bag. If you don't know what's in the bag, you can't just randomly reach in and pull something out. Bags of holding are actually a miniature portal into another dimension.
It's
That's
like
how
a
they
mini
work.
TARDIS, kind of. It's bigger on the inside.
And incredibly fashionable. It's got that kind of boho chic to it.
Boho.
Brian, your
Pound of
little
dragon.
pouch is a pouch of many things.
Ooh.
He's too cute to be our dragon.
He looks kind of vicious. A little. Not
Okay.
really.
So, Brian, your pouch of many things is kind of a random... It's a dice roll as to what you pull out of it.
It's kind of like the deck of many things. But
Yeah.
It's more of physical items.
Or the coat of many... It's a cloak of many things, with all the pockets, but... Yeah, you can choose to draw something from the pouch, but there's no guarantee what's going to come out. And you kind of know that this is my game, so it's going to be interesting.
That's actually fun. That's what makes it so much fun, because you have no idea. It could be good. It could be bad.
Stick your hand in and pull out a rotten egg.
Hey, you throw that rotten egg at somebody, and they're taking some serious damage.
What to make a saving throw against noxious gas.
Yeah, maybe we can run away while they vomit.
And that's when you use the hellish rebuke and shout, "Well, that's egg on your face there, mate." Okay.
Did we find out what the rod was?
That's an immovable rod.
Immovable rod. Nice.
Oh, what?
An immovable rod. Once you put that rod down, it will stay in that place, and absolutely nothing can move it except you.
So it's Thor's hammer, but
Kind
for
of,
me,
yeah.
And it's a pipe.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're not going to be able to use these items immediately. It's going to take you some time to attune to them.
Mm-hmm.
But once you are attuned to them, they will only respond to you.
Tuned.
Yes.
So we're imprinting on them as if it was an animal.
Or maybe the other way around. It's not always clear.
That's true. I've seen that with shields, especially ones that have souls in them.
Oh, intelligent weapons and intelligent armor are very dangerous things.
Yes.
Yes, when you've got magical items that are sentient, that's when you start to run into trouble.
A sword that talks to you, but nobody else can hear it.
Make sure your intelligence, charisma, and wisdom are pretty high.
Yeah, the funniest one I had was a sword of whinging. Because all that sword did was complain the entire time.
I had a friend that had a weapon that would tell them when secret doors were about, but it had an attitude problem. It was sarcastic and just like, look, if there was a secret door, why are you asking me? I would tell you. Shut up.
I think I was
But they
lucky in
also-
that aspect
Yes,
because
but-
I only had an empathic weapon.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So that's the other thing. It was talking to it, but only like psychically, so nobody else could hear it speaking.
Because the empathic ones, you just get sensations. So if it's like attuned to secret doors, and you get near, it's going to try and like pull you towards that, saying, "Hey, there's something over here."
But it can't physically with words
Yeah,
tell you.
Yeah, I won't talk with you.
Yeah.
They're a little bit safer because you don't need really high stats for your charisma, wisdom, and intelligence.
Yeah, because some of them actually have an ulterior motive.
Well, the ones that speak actually have a lot more power and do more things. So, it's
And
the
they
old
can
adage,
change
it's
your,
like they got a good ego.
Oh yeah, they can change your what is it?
Your alignment.
Your alignment. That's fun too.
Yep.
Okay.
Especially if a paladin has a chaotic evil weapon.
But a chaotic evil paladin is like the best.
Well, those are the items you pulled from the Lost and Found.
What about
The items that the
Thank you,
dragon
Lost and Found.
has bestowed upon you are going to be considerably more time in investigating.
Okay.
Because there's nothing about these 3 items that makes it obvious as to what they are, other than what they physically look like.
The Deathly Hollows.
So you will need
Definitely not a
time.
cloak of invisibility.
You will need time to earn,
Or
and
the Stone of Resurrection.
either time or an awful lot of knowledge to be able to determine what these items are. Just know that they are incredibly powerful and incredibly valuable.
Yes.
Right. What
I
shall
get a
we do
baby
now?
dragon.
Maybe. You got an egg.
I did.
Yep,
It's gonna be my
Mark,
baby.
actually, very good point. Mudsy in the Discord chat is saying that the other option is to pay somebody to help identify them for you.
Yes.
But, these are gifts from
Pay
a
too
dragon.
much.
You probably don't want to go talking about this too much.
No.
Nope. But I would like to get out of this mountain. So let's just touch our special rings.
Wait.
Mwah.
We know it takes us out of here. We don't know where.
Top of the mountain or the foot of the mountain?
Or anywhere
Or
else.
somewhere. Just where the dragon is.
Or 4,000 feet above the mountain.
Yeah, it just said it takes
Lovely.
us away from here. I mean,
Said it gets us in and out. I don't think it would put us.
I mean, I could be literal.
don't think
I
so.
could be
Here,
incredibly
that's the
literal and say it teleports you exactly 1,000 feet from where you're standing, but not in which direction it teleports you.
Yep.
Because, DMs have to have their fun, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Could have been the last place we came from.
True. Regardless, unless we can go back down and start walking on that floor, which I don't think we can, we have to get out of here a different way, and that's our only way.
Well, even if you could go down, you didn't enter through a tunnel. You were teleported by the dragon into this place.
Yeah,
Oh, true. Yeah, so we have to get out this way.
yeah. Okay.
Where's the
Well-
librarian? Is the librarian here?
Um,
Ah!
he kind of drifted away as you started rummaging through the cupboard.
Bye, librarian.
I mean, to be fair, you did find an awful lot of old scraps of parchment and some old socks and what looks like a half-eaten lunch from maybe 1,000 years ago.
Oh, wonder if the dragon wanted that.
1,000-year-old sausage, yes. Yes. Dustin, try that next time you go out. Try waving your 1,000-year-old sausage at the first dragon you see. And if that doesn't get you onto one of those special registers, I really couldn't help you.
Was only 150.
Right. Are you going to be using your rings?
I'm gonna grab hold of the golem and do it.
Hug him.
And hope that it takes us. This is
Hug him and
scary.
hold him and squeeze him.
Well, because
Hold on. Where do we want to go? Let's just in case. Let's all think of
we
a
need to
place.
think of a place because if it sends us, we don't know how this works. Does it just send us to a specific place, to the last place we came from before here, to a place we're thinking of?
Omar's laughing like you guys are overthinking this and you're all dumb. However, let's just all think of the freaking.
Picture the inn. Picture the inn.
Okay. I'm going to pause just for a second. Just because. Hang on. Where's my? Because I've just got to show this on the stream. Joni and Cole Joni's been making up Cole. And Cole looks so pretty.
Oh my!
Put a wig on him.
I mean, he kind of looks like something that I remember seeing in Rocky Horror.
Yeah, kind
But then I did Rocky Horror.
He's talking about his cute hair. This is the funniest thing in the world.
I did Rocky Horror when I was at uni, and we went fully dressed up. You have to.
Hey, he's got the top knot going on there.
Oh yeah. It's. I'm actually struggling to figure out what the flick. Oh, who looked better, him or Don? Come on. Oh, well done, Joni. Well done.
Oh,
okay, so Dustin, you loop your arm around the golems.
I just want to say, at the first moment of like physical contact in this story, I'm just gonna let out a grunt, and you can interpret that however you'd like.
Okay, so Dustin, when you kind of when you grab hold of the golem, you hear a sound.
No, this isn't that kind of time.
I'm still a little like flustered. Do you hear what's happening in Joni's stream right now?
I've not got the audio on.
I did too, but then it's just Cole's doing hair flips. He's hair flipping, and he's like, now he's singing.
I suppose if you're going to do it, you might as well just embrace it. He does look like he's in a bad hair metal band, though, doesn't he?
he does.
Looks like he's in a bad hair day.
Something's wrong.
His roots are showing.
And Joni's having so much fun too. So this is just. Oh. My.
Anyway, okay, let's do this bit,
Just
and then we'll
to let
take.
you know,
And then we'll
10 minutes.
let's do this
15
bit, and then we're probably going to call it from here because we're pretty much at the end of this chapter.
Okay.
Dustin, you take the golem's hand, and he sighs gently. The rest of you, you put your rings on. You're not really sure how to use these. They didn't come with any instructions. Sam, you're kind of looking at your ring and looking at all the roiling aurora colours floating around in the gemstone, and you kind of go and rub it on your shirt, and you disappear out of the room. Brian, you've noticed this as well, so you just rub the ring against your clothing, and you disappear out of the room. Dustin, you've just seen the other two vanish after rubbing the rings against themselves. And the golem looks down at you with a really longingful look. It's been so lonely all these years. You also rub the ring against your clothing, and the pair of you vanish out of the room. The four of you reappear in the open air. You're on the little hill just outside the watchtower. You're standing in the field. It's early afternoon. It smells like it's been raining recently. And there's the very acrid smell of smoke in the air. You quickly scan the horizon and you see smoke starting to build and billow from behind the forest trees in the direction of the village that you started in.
I look at the rogue. Your fault.
Oh, easy there, bud. We should probably go save the people from the fire-breathing dragon.
Okay, you make off at the fastest possible speed. Dustin, what are your instructions to the golem?
I'm just gonna tell it to follow me and try to keep up as we run. And I will inform it when it needs to stop.
Okay. You give that instruction to the golem. I'm kind of fighting the urge to add big boy at the end of that. You make the fastest possible pace back to the village. You're almost sprinting at top speed. And as you approach the village, you can hear the screams and shouts of the villagers frantically trying to get the fires under control. As you come through the trees, you can see that only a few of the buildings have been set alight. And far in the distance, you can hear a roar as the dragon bellows with anger. And through the clouds, you can see a jet of flame shooting out into the sky from behind the clouds.
Shit.
Rainbow in someone else's cloud. Let's help these people out.
Okay.
We already saved them.
Let's get wrecked.
I think they're way ahead of you. Okay, you start moving amongst the townsfolk. You can see that some of the injured have been pulled out of the buildings and are trying to catch their breath, having inhaled smoke and such. Some of the other townspeople are forming chain gangs with buckets, trying to pull water out of the well as fast as possible and throwing them onto the thatched roofs of the buildings. Brian, you move quickly between some of the people laying on the ground, just tending to them, seeing if they're injured. You've got healing spells?
Well, if everybody actually gathers around, I can actually do a prayer of healing, which will cover like a 30-foot radius. And it does like a 2d8 plus my spellcasting bonus.
Okay. You go ahead and do that then. You ask the townspeople to kind of move everyone into a central location so that you can use your magic to heal them, and also so you can hand out some pamphlets. Sam, you move amongst some of the buildings and you see Tom the barman standing outside of his inn. The inn looks a little bit singed from some fire that may have caught one of the nearby buildings, but the inn itself isn't damaged. Tom's looking somewhat aghast. He looks exhausted. He's got kind of black soot marks all over him. He's probably been helping with the buckets, trying to douse some of the fires on the other buildings. Dustin, what are you doing?
I'm gonna head to the inn as well, and then I'm going to have once the golem gets there, I'm just gonna have the golem stand outside to the right of the door at the inn and just stand there until I give him his next command. Because
you're making him so useful. It's awesome.
Well, I want to see how I can be helpful to the people in the town before I send the golem out to do some help, because he can probably help with repairs, but I've got to be careful about how I go about doing that.
Well, there's a line of people trying to draw water from the well. That might be a better use for the golem.
Okay. I would be asking Tom. This is basically what I'm doing. So he'd probably, you're saying,
okay,
send him to the well?
Tom points to Tom's immediately taken aback by this 10-foot tall rock and fired clay creature that's lumbering along behind you. He looks somewhat startled by this thing, and Tom's not the type to be scared easily. He recognizes what it might be, but he's still very wary of it, and kind of like takes a few steps back as the golem follows you towards him. You instruct the golem to go and help draw water from the well, and the golem lumbers across and begins climbing down inside the well, lifting buckets of water out to the people that are standing on the ground level. In the meantime, Tom is looking very conflicted. He thanks you for releasing the villagers. They got back safely to the village. They were very malnourished. They were very weak, but they all returned safe and sound. But he wonders why you've been gone so long. The people you freed, they came back. They were tired and they were a little bit broken. We fed them up and let them rest, but that was weeks ago. Where have you been all this time? And how has fire rained down from the skies upon us? What on earth is going on?
Well, we didn't really know what happened, but at some point we got transported to a mysterious place with a library. Not sure how long we were there. You're saying weeks?
It's been weeks since I saw you last. Everyone that you freed has almost returned to full health now. It's been a blessing getting the children back, and mind you, some of the wives haven't really learned to curb their tongues, but that's another thing.
Wow.
But no, we made our return as quickly as we could, but unfortunately, we were taken elsewhere after ensuring the freedom of the captives.
While you're explaining this to him, he kind of leans back against the wall of his inn and just slides down and slumps to the floor, utterly exhausted. He's been manning the buckets and helping carry water to douse the fires on the thatch. He kind of very wearily lifts his head up to you and this. 1 minute we had a spring shower, and the next there was fire just pouring down from the sky. It's like himself is angry with us, or the gods have taken offense to something that we've done.
Oh.
There was a roaring in the clouds, like thunder, like I've never heard, and the cloud just opened up and fire came pouring down.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that sounds like a dragon.
We will investigate. That's what
dragon.
we will do.
He looks at you. A dragon.
I mean, that's what it sounds like you're describing.
Just fits the myth.
A dragon.
Fire from the sky?
Perhaps pulleth the other one that doth have bells on?
Well, did you see anything other than the fire?
Generally when fire's pouring down at you from the sky, you run. You don't usually stop to take notes or make an artistic impression.
But it would make for such a lovely painting.
Yeah.
Or at least a carving.
There's buildings over there on fire. You might want to go help, you smart ass.
That's what the Golem's doing. He's helping with the water, putting it out.
Tom kind of pulls himself back up to his feet and wanders over to the bucket line just to try and continue to be of some help as the villagers continue to try to extinguish all the fire that has been unleashed upon them.
Yeah, I look at Sam because
this was all her idea, was it? Oh, it's turning to that now.
All my idea. All right. Well, we're not going to tell him that we know about this dragon. Okay.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking. We can't tell him that we're responsible. And outside of the dragon, no one else would even know anyway.
So, sir, do you need help in any way?
Tom beckons you over to tend to the wounded or to help to quash all the flames. Anything you can do there is going to be helpful. The town will need some help to rebuild at some point, but that's nothing that they can't handle. You, however, this is me speaking, not Tom. You, however, have a larger problem to deal with now. Because there's a great big flying fire-breathing lizard up there somewhere, and it's pissed.
But not at us.
Not sure if it's us.
Oh, you're like the three best friends it could ever have right now.
For now.
You're the wolf pack here.
Wolf pack.
Tom kind of makes his way over. I was talking to some of the folk there, and it does sound a bit stupid. But some of them also say that it was a great big fire-breathing, leathery, dragonish-looking thing. Thought it might have been a big seagull, but Yeah.
Well, we can take care of a seagull. Maybe.
Yeah, I've not seen any fire-breathing seagulls around here, so not
This would be great.
not sure which way to go on that one. But
That would take beaches to a whole new level.
look, I tell you what, if you, I don't think you guys can be any help here, but if you want to head outside to the village and have a chat with Nanny Og, she's the we don't like to use the word witch. She gets a bit uppity about that. But she's the local herbalist.
Oh.
Oh, she's right up my alley then.
She might have some idea what's going on, because I'll be blowed if I do. The golem is still lifting buckets of water out of the well. There's quite a large puddle starting to build up at the base of the well now.
We need to get him,
Yeah,
and we need to
is there
go.
still a fire?
No, the fire's out.
Okay. Golem, you can stop with the water and come out and follow us to see somebody.
Okay, if Joni's raiding us, then we should probably keep going for a little bit.
I cannot. I have to
True,
stop here.
you have to go.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll move on to the last little bit, which is speaking to the Hedge Witch, and then we'll probably call it there for the session, because we're coming up to 4 hours, and I don't want to run too much longer than 4. Okay, who's going to take responsibility for the golem if Dustin isn't here?
Oh, you said you're leaving him?
What? No. I gotta step away right now, real quick.
Oh, you gotta go right now. Okay, I'll
So-
take control.
I'm just gonna mute.
I'm scared.
Oh, okay, you're coming back. Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, I just gotta do something real quick.
Okay.
Cool.
You instruct the golem to exit the well. He does it the best way he can, by digging his hands and feet into the side walls of the well and climbing his way out of it. The little roof and winch assembly that was at the top of the well is now kind of dangling from his head. But the golem is out. Eric, from this point, I think you kind of get a feel for how I'm playing your character, so I'm going to leave you to interpret these instructions.
I will make you way more useful.
Ah, power!
Forward to it.
Okay, one of the villagers kind of points you in the rough direction of Nanny Og and gives you a bit of a warning. Nanny Og, she's kind of like a mam for the entire village. I think every one of us was delivered by her. She's like local midwife. She's a bit handy with some herbs, and you just don't get her angry. Yeah.
You won't like her when she's angry.
No,
Just give her some herbs.
no,
she'll be
no,
angry
no,
no
no, no.
longer.
You're not going to like her when she's happy either. You're just not going to like her, but just don't get her angry. She's been taking care of us in these parts for, well, longer than I've been alive, and longer than my dad's been alive, and his dad before him. But yeah, if there's an elder in the village that we all turn to, it's Nanny Og. So if there's anything going on that she can help you with, I'm sure she'll be able to point you in the right direction. He gives you some basic instructions as to how to get to her cottage. It's a little bit down the hill, away from the village, which is kind of like their seclusion. There's been several hundred years of witch hunting and persecution there. But yeah, it's always nice. Are you bringing the golem?
Can't wait.
Sure am. Oh, wait. So we're going to talk to her, correct?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you need to follow me behind me and stop when I stop.
Okay.
So, because the golem is mute, Eric, I think
Right.
probably the best way that you
Yeah.
can you can, if you're going to indicate that you've understood the instructions, just like a nod or a bow
Yeah, right.
would be sufficient, I think.
Even though we
Can I
can't
do a
see
thumbs
him.
up?
And we are being raided by Joni. Welcome, everyone. Joni, we caught the end of that makeup stream with Cole and his hair flicks.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But thank you.
Joni,
Sure did.
there you go. There's the vampy shirt.
Thank you for joining.
I need one of those.
We're actually just over 4 hours into episode 2 of my D&D game. This is my homebrew D&D game based on Terry Pratchett's Discworld called The Birth of Dragonsfire. And our intrepid players have just found out why it's called The Birth of Dragonsfire. Sam, would you like to elaborate?
Fuck. Oh, I did an oopsie and I wanted to free the nice dragon, and it turns out it wasn't so nice. I was a true Canadian and I let the bitch go.
And then it rained down fire and killed a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, this is literally off the chain now. So our party has freed a trapped dragon that was being used to fuel magical experiments by a group of wizards. We don't know if they were good or bad wizards, but they were a very, very long time ago. It is now angry and is unleashing its fury upon the rest of the world. So we have some decisions to make. Namely, do we aid the dragon in hunting down its foes? Do you attempt to stop the dragon or reason with it in some way, or potentially even find out what its ulterior motives might be? But right now we are heading off to visit the local Hedge witch to see if we can find out some more information. She's delivered most of the children in the region for generations, so she's been around a little bit. She's also had about 6 husbands. They tend to not last very long. But you have kind of wandered your way through the woods. You've come to a little clearing, and there's a lovely little cottage with a beautiful little flower garden, some herbs growing at the side, and lots of little woodland creatures happily skipping and frolicking around in the grass. Joni, thank you very much for joining. Joni's away to eat and all that makeup's probably made her a bit tired. But thank you for stopping by, Joni. Everyone else, if you're here, do let us know.
Joni.
Oh yes,
Cheers.
and yes, happy birthday for
Cheers.
yesterday.
Yes. Happy
A
birthday,
big
Joni.
cheers to Joni for her birthday and her birthday stream.
And cheers to Cole. You're going to be using a lot of makeup remover in the second, mate.
That's so true.
The makeup. What?
Yeah, Cole, I can lend you a belt sander. That might do the trick.
Ow.
Anyway, you make your way to this beautiful little Snow White looking cottage. And you who's going to knock on the door?
I do.
Okay, Sam, just as you reach up to knock on the door swings open. Who are you?
Dixie?
Yeah, I know that, but who are you?
Important.
Well, that's probably not for me to determine. Anyway, come in. Sit down before you make the place look untidy. Ooh, he's a big fella.
Hey, here's a pamphlet.
She gingerly reaches out and takes one off. Oh, Offla. Good choice. Interesting things coming for Offla. Maybe some corrective dentistry in the future. She leads you into what is an archetypal witch's cottage. It's completely rammed to the rafters with clutter. There is stuff everywhere, and there is more stuff piled upon that stuff, which has more stuff piled upon it. Everything from broken crockery to rusty buckets to brooms in 5 or 6 different shapes and sizes. There are chairs piled upon chairs, some of which have been broken, and rather than just being thrown out, a new chair has been put on top of it. So by the time you've actually sat down on the current chair, you're 3 feet off the ground. But everywhere you can see there's little clay jars, there's little glass bottles, there's shelves upon shelves upon shelves. There's herbs hanging from the ceiling, there's plants springing out of every crack in the brickwork, and there's a pigeon on the fireplace. You also notice a giant ginger tomcat curled up on the hearth by the fire.
Can you pet it?
This ginger tomcat has nothing about it that anybody would find appealing. It also has a very strange
Have you met
smell.
me?
It's missing one ear. The other ear has a couple of ragged tears in it.
It just needs love.
There's a couple of patches in its fur, and as it kind of rushes and stretches out on the hearth, you see the claws spring out, and they look very well sharpened. The cat gives a lazy look in your direction, yawns and stretches, and then curls back up on the fire.
Prestidigitation.
Yeah, pull its tail.
Assets.
Sit down. You're making the place look tidy. So,
Put a pack rat to shame, wouldn't she?
what do you want? Come on.
We
Busy,
need to
busy,
ask you a
busy.
couple questions. We need to ask you a couple questions.
Come. Oh, that's why I'm here, isn't it? Come on. Busy.
Dragons. Have you ever seen one?
You mean apart from the great big one that's flying around outside there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I'm guessing you went into that tower, right? And you freed all the villagers, right?
So far, affirmative. Yeah.
And then something went a bit wibbly wobbly, and you found a dragon.
Yes, that.
Kind of on the right track here? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Do you notice there's no crystal balls around here?
How come?
Because they're bollocks. You don't stare into a big glass bubble and see the future and the mists of time. I'm a witch. I know shit. Right. So, you've released a dragon, and it's a bit miffed. Would that sum the situation up?
Yeah, to
Yes.
say the least.
What you gonna do about it?
Well, we wanted to know if you knew the tale, if you knew where it could be headed.
I know lots of tales. Some of them are still attached to animals.
But
Right.
It's usually ended at the neck, by the way.
She drops down to a giant cushion of an old armchair that sags and creaks under her very rotund shape. Props her feet up on a footstool and just steeples her fingers. So, did you go to the Orichalcum?
sí, señorita.
I can see the rings. It's a bit obvious. Which means you met the librarian. Because that's how you got the rings. And the orichalcum was forged by wizards, and the dragon was imprisoned in the base of the library. Am I on the kind of the right game trail here?
Yes, you do know our life story. We need to know where those witches are.
You're talking to the witch.
Wizards.
Wizards.
Right. Okay. Which isn't really gender specific, but for this instance, can we just kind of stay on target? Right. So, great big hefty, really angry, slightly cranky, been in prison for 1,000 years, and breathing fire dragon is now loose because you thought that was a good idea? Right. Okay. Let me tell you what I can surmise, and again, no crystal balls necessary. It's pissed. It's gonna go and hunt down every single wizard or descendant of wizard that it can find. Every single magic user on the disc is now shish kebab.
Bye, guys.
So, what you gonna do about it?
We need to find the dragon.
Duh.
Try to reason with it or put it down.
Reason? Reason with a dragon? Oh, you might as well
Why
make
is
water
putting it
flow
down,
uphill.
like the better option here.
God, if I was 300 years younger, I would have found that funny. Right. Well, your only option right now, my dears, is you best get yourself off to Ankh-Morpork, because you need to be speaking to the wizards at the Unseen University. Because I'm guessing the dragon's going to be heading there as well. So if anybody's going to know how to stop it, they probably are. If you can get there in time. Because I'm pretty sure the dragon's heading there also. And it's going to be raining fire down upon the Unseen University as soon as possible. Now, if you travel by coach, Ankh-Morpork is maybe 5 or 6 days. Off you go.
And where do we
Thank
pick
you.
the coach up?
Do I look like a travel agent?
Yes.
Well, it's been very pleasant talking to you. We're going to make our way out now.
Right. Okay. I can see this is going to be difficult. We don't normally like to get involved in these kinds of things, and if Magrat found out, she'd be furious. Let's not tell Magrat. She has ideas above her. This new age thinking that she does is just no. Witches do not go around making love potions and dancing around naked in the moonlight. Kids. Right. Okay.
That's disappointing.
Let me see what I can do. This might be a little rough and ready. Okay. The Nannyog points to you, Sam. Over there, wicker basket. Grab that. Brian, she points to you. Over there, broomsticks. There should be 3. One's a little bit broken. Grab that.
Am I sweeping up around here or what?
I'm a witch. I'm asking you to get a broomstick. What do you think's going to happen?
Not quite sure, really.
We're not gonna have a sing-song, that's for certain. Right. You big fella, you could be a bit of a problem. I'm not a wizard, so I can't magically make you any lighter. This could be tricky. Right. You back, Dustin?
Yes.
Okay. Nannyog looks over at you and says, right, down the bottom of the hill, you'll find the road. There'll be a great big post in it. And on that post will be a picture of a horse-drawn carriage. Figure it out. Get down there. The next carriage to Lancre should be in about 20 or so minutes. She leans out of the window and checks the angle of the sun. Maybe 18 minutes. Make sure the coach stops. We have some work to do. She bustles you all out of the cottage. Dustin, you managed to flag down the carriage. The coach driver is probably more concerned with how you're planning to pay the fare. Until he sees Nanny Og bustling over the hill in basically a pointy black hat and 90% bosom. Brian, you're running along behind her with the broomsticks, and Sam, you've got basically what looks like a little picnic basket filled with little glass bottles jingling around. Right. Nannyog looks over towards you, Brian. Right. Start tying those to the underside of the carriage. Be careful. Don't damage the bristles. If you damage the bristles, they're not going to steer straight.
Radio.
You, Mrs. Grab some of these potions, the purple ones, start pouring them down the horse's neck. If the driver gives you any trouble, you get him down here and I'll speak to him. Mr. What are you, a bowman? Oh, you're one of them ranger types, aren't you? She looks over to you, Dustin. This big fella, you're gonna need to well, he's a bit big. I don't think the horses are gonna cope. Let me think. She kind of rummages around in what looks like an apron, although you didn't know it was an apron because the top of it was hidden by the enormous cleavage. It's just kind of sucked in there somehow. She rummages around in the pockets of her apron and pulls out what looks like a twig. She walks up to the golem and... You're a big fella. Taps him somewhere around the chest, because that's as far as she can reach. The golem begins to shrink. Very rapidly. Eric, you are now the size of a small action figure. Fully posable, with, like, action features.
Karate chop action.
Oh no! You've got the eyes that look around.
Oh right, okay.
You've now shrunk to the size of a 5-inch action figure. Dustin, she turns back to you. Right, you better be quick because that's not going to last long. She grabs the coach driver literally by the scruff of his neck and yanks him down to her level, which is considerable because she's only about 3'8". Right, you. Broomsticks, fly, very quick. Ankh-Morpork, now. Big-ass pissed-off dragon. Understand? Coach driver just... His eyes are darting around madly, looking at you and then her and then back again, and he knows who Nannyog is. He was probably delivered by her as well. And he knows not to argue. He just nods frantically. Okay, off you go. And if you come round here again, leave the bloody dragon at home. And if you're coming back from Ankh-Morpork, bring me back some of that butterscotch. It's really good. And you just can't get the same stuff out here. Anyway, toodaloo. And she starts jogging back up the hill to her cottage. You see what looks like a sack of potatoes dressed in black with a pointy hat and bosoms bouncing at the sides. You board the coach.
The dragon named Butterscotch.
The moment that you,
Yeah.
the moment you climb
At least
aboard.
some type of butterscotch. Is it Werther's Originals?
No, Ankh-Morpork is actually quite famed for the treacle mines. I'm not joking. There is an actual treacle mine underneath Ankh-Morpork, where in prehistoric times you would have trees and forests being compressed down into coal, for example. Sedimentation in Ankh-Morpork works slightly differently. What would have been sugarcane fields many thousands of years ago have been compressed down into rock treacle. And that treacle is then mined for export across the disk. Treacle mines. Anyway, you climb aboard the coach. The minute you step aboard the coach, you notice that all of a sudden the suspension feels quite floaty. Looking out the window, you also notice that the horses are seeming quite floaty as well. The coachman looks down at you very pensively. Miss, you probably want to hang on tight to anything. He grabs the reins and lashes the reins against the horses, and the horses start running. But their hooves aren't touching the ground. And the coach starts moving. And you feel the coach accelerating very smoothly, almost like you're on a boat, just gradually building up speed. And you keep building speed. And you keep building speed. And looking out the window, you see trees kind of flicking by as you barrel along these country roads. And then the trees start to blur together as the horses keep gaining speed.
You mean reindeer?
All around the
Santa would be
coach,
jealous.
all around the coach, that octarine glow begins to appear, of blues and purples and greens and pinks, all the colours of the aurora borealis just roiling around the coach as the broomsticks begin to hum. And you can feel the vibration of these broomsticks coming through the bottom of the coach. And the horses keep gaining speed. Sam, you look out the window, and you're now struggling to see what's moving past you. In the distance, you can see that there are fields, and the clouds seem to be moving far too fast for their own good. The horses keep gaining speed. The coachman is now hanging on for dear life atop the top of this coach, shouting down that at this rate you'll be in Ankh-Morpork within the hour. And as you look out of the back window of the coach, you can see the farming fields where the early spring, things like squashes and pumpkins and radishes and turnips are growing. The wake of this octarine fire coming from the back of the coach and the sheer magic that's been forced out of these items are causing these root vegetables to explode out of the ground. And you
Well, that kind of messed up the crops.
And you keep
Someone's
gaining
gonna be-
speed.
Hungry.
And that's where we're going to end it.
No!
We have to get there.
So, you are travelling by magically induced horse carriage. You're probably close to breaking the speed of sound. And there is definitely a turnip effect happening somewhere behind you. You've still got a basket full of random potions that you've got no idea what any of them do. Just stay away from the purple ones. And you've got a coachman that looks like he's going through an early 1950s pilot G-force test. as his eyelids are being peeled back from his face. So
I say we gotta keep going.
oh, and you've also got
get to where we're going.
you've also got a GI Golem in your pocket.
That's true.
Golem
Did
in
I
your
give it
pocket,
back?
or you're just happy to see me?
No, Brian, that's definitely a Golem.
They may have a dragon knight, but I got a
because
golem.
someone wanted to pet a dragon. I just read that.
So yes, you freed the dragon who blasted his way out of the mountain. He's now setting fire to anything that might look like a descendant of a wizard because he's just pissed. And you're on your way to Ankh-Morpork, travelling by magic at what is probably close to the speed of sound at this point in time. The journey would normally take you several days by coach. You're going to be there in several minutes. And at some point, you're going to have to figure out how to slow down.
And hopefully that golem doesn't turn back into normal size before you get there.
Ouch.
Could make a
Right, then we'd
handy
have to
anchor.
Use that pipe.
Could make a very handy anchor. Just
Yeah,
like
that is
tie a rope to the golem and toss him out the window and see what he grabs
Right.
onto.
Just make sure he's out of your pocket.
Uh-huh.
Now, actually, no, I had a thought there, but that's just me being an evil DM.
What did you
I don't imagine it would work because it would probably destroy the entire carriage and you with it. But I'll keep that one in mind for the game. Right,
Oh.
Do with Sam's item?
could well be. Yes.
we can use that pipe. I just, don't know what we're gonna use it for unless it's trying to stop a horse abruptly.
I probably wouldn't set it down on the floor of the coach.
Wait, could I just tell it to stop?
What, the coach?
The horses.
Do you speak horse?
Yes.
If that's the case, then yes, you probably could make a very plausible attempt.
I
There
have
we
up to 10. I have speak with animals.
You do. Whether the horses are going to be, bear in mind these are a pair of coach horses that are traveling at close to the speed of sound. They've got
Yeah,
no
I
idea
just-
what's
I
going
just
on.
felt-
They might be slightly
Slow down.
alarmed by this entire endeavor. I mean, honestly, whoever would be in such a hurry?
The horse's response is just going to be, oh god, why?
What?
Well, generally, horses walk a tightrope of sheer terror, just existing day to day. So, yes, who knows?
Well, it'd be like telling the golem to just stop if he was leading.
You know that scene when, like Superman swoops down in front of the train and just stops the entire train dead,
Yeah.
and then every single carriage doesn't get the message straight away.
And they all buckle up and go all which ways.
Yeah. And the train basically jackknifes like an 18 certificate version of Grease. Something like that would probably happen if you deployed the golem. But I'm going to leave you to think about that one until the next session. So,
Oh my.
that is the end of episode 2. We have destroyed the entire planet, or at least started its destruction along the way,
I'm
and
sorry.
now we're rushing to kind of
Greedy.
fix the mess you've made.
Greedy, I was trying to help him.
Well, it was grateful.
Chaos was inevitable.
It was definitely grateful.
Yeah, I could tell.
But you also have
Give me
3.
its freaking baby.
You have
Just like
3
I
magical
asked for.
items that you need to determine how you can use.
Yeah. They gave you an egg. We got to figure out what that egg is.
I wanted its money and it gave me its baby instead.
Yeah, I've never had that conversation with any of my exes.
Well, usually when you get a baby, they end up with your money anyway.
Yeah, and 18
You'll
years of
support
financial
it.
responsibility and college payments as well.
Amen.
Right. Eric, you're kind of getting a feel for how my game runs now.
Yeah. It's very enjoyable.
For the rest of you, how did we find today?
I like RP stuff, story-based stuff. It's
feel
good.
I feel like we're going too fast and we just need to get to the pork place already.
Did you say the pork place?
Yeah.
Yep, so
Please.
you are en route to Ankh-Morpork, which is the twin cities of Ankh and Morpork, which straddle the river Ankh. It is the largest city on this particular continent in the disc, and pretty much the center of the world, as far as Ankh-Morporkians believe.
And what if one wants less pork?
Well, you ain't gonna want to go there then.
If you're not into pork, you'll probably end up with You'll probably end up in Clatch.
So, I just want to say that the witch is very fortunate because we were in such a hurry because I was going to have Golem take Kitty.
Really?
Have you,
Yes.
what's that book? The character's name is George in it.
George?
You thinking of Bugs Bunny with the abominable snowman?
Yeah, well, it was based
I
off
will
of
stroke
that,
him
too.
and pet him and call him George.
Yeah,
it was based off of that, but that's where I was going. Yeah.
Eric, you wouldn't have stood a chance against that cat. Absolutely
Bugs
not.
Bunny.
But I could speak to the cat. That was the other thing.
You can definitely speak to the cat, but that cat is many, many levels above your character.
Okay.
The one thing about that is my first cat that I had, I did call him George because of that cartoon.
I'm just going to call this dragon Butterscotch since he wouldn't tell us her name.
Right. So that is the end of episode 2. I will attempt to schedule another one of these at least within the next couple of weeks. I'm back home at the minute, so I'm quarantining. Because frankly, just being down in London, who knows what I might have picked up. So I'm quarantining for a solid 2 weeks. So we might certainly be able to do something between now and the beginning of March, while I'm still stuck here. Once I go back down to London, it's going to be just chaos down there. So I definitely won't have any time while I'm down south. So
When do you go back?
it really depends on whether I get sick or not. I'm aiming to be heading back down the first week of March, because that will give me a full 14 days to see if any symptoms appear. If anything does appear, then I'm going to be staying put until either I get confirmed negative tests or whatever symptoms they are disappear. A couple of people that I've was seeing down south have had 48-hour colds. It's hit them really bad for a couple of days, and then they just got over it really suddenly. So
That's what I think we had.
yeah, but as I said, for obvious reasons, I'm not taking any chances. So within the next week or two, certainly the opportunity, unless I come down with something. And Ankh-Morpork is really where the bulk of your time is going to be. Until you finish you've effectively finished chapter 1 of the story. arriving in Ankh-Morpork and the activities in Ankh-Morpork is pretty much chapter 2 of what I've written. So there'll be a fair amount of time in the city. What that will mean is that we've got plenty of opportunity to sub other players in and out. Because you're going to be in the big city, there's going to be lots of characters that you can run into. So we've got plenty of opportunity to add maybe 1 or 2 other players, or depending on your own schedules, if Dustin, if you or Brian can't make it, then we can again swap some people in just as a kind of like a day player in the game.
Okay.
But I'm going to call it here. I'm going to have to do a little bit of editing to get this video working because it's now in 2 parts.
Yes, Sam has my schedule, so I DM'd her my schedule so she can actually see when I'm working and when I'm not.
Yeah, I can write down his days off in the next couple weeks and match it up.
Okay, but for everyone, Fridays are still preferable?
It honestly doesn't even matter to me.
Well, as long as it's not like the next Friday, but the following Friday after that. So like I go in a 2-week rotation.
Okay.
And that's the thing, like Brian might have to do a Thursday night. A Thursday night because the weekend he works.
Right. Okay.
If we can catch it on a Friday when you don't, because that's pretty much the only day I generally have off.
Yeah, so like that's going to be in 2 weeks. Like I won't be able to do next Friday because I'll be working that weekend, but I'll be able to do the following Friday.
Okay, so yeah, let's pencil in.
It's just so far away.
2 weeks? This is your first D&D campaign.
I know, and I don't understand the people who meet once a month. Like, how can you wait that long?
Think about the people that once a year or something like that.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
Like everyone here's like laughing at you, like the month is so long.
When I was going hard. Oh, go ahead.
The other 2 groups I'm in haven't met in like 6 months at least. Like nobody can get a schedule down.
Well, I used to play at a club up here on a Sunday afternoon. It was just a general tabletop and wargaming club. So anything from D&D to other systems to a bit of Warhammer, and they would every 6-week block they would just rotate what games are on offer, and you join whichever group you're interested in. And that club hasn't met since this whole COVID thing kicked off. So without this game that I'm running now, I wouldn't have played D&D for over a year at this point. Because it's nigh on impossible to meet up with people in real life.
Yeah.
And given that most... Sorry, go on.
When I was going... before this, like when I was going hardcore, like we usually gathered like a couple of friends and family like every week. So like every Sunday we would go over and play D&D.
Well, given that your typical D&D player is usually in relatively poor health, nerds unite.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to call it there for the stream. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. And again, thank you for all the guys that come over with Joni's raid. That was absolutely lovely of her. I'm going to stop the stream now, and we'll get episode details up for the next one.